Okay. Yeah, looks like we're recording. So just a disclaimer, this is a mock group therapy session for a group therapy class at Cal State, or I'm sorry, not Cal State, that was my old school, California Baptist University. For my grad program, my name's Andrea Solis, and then I have 5 volunteers, and we're all doing fictitious scenarios. And so we're going to begin. So, hi everyone. I just want to thank you for joining me and agreeing to do this whole virtual experiment. So, I know a few of you are going to be moving soon, and that's kind of how the whole idea came about, to have like a virtual group, because some of you are going to be like, we have one person going out of state, I think, soon. So this way we can all stay connected, and yeah, so I'm doing this for the first time along with all of you, so we're all in the same boat as far as like, you know, it being a first time experience. But I have met with each of you individually, and so, you know, I know you from before a little bit, but I just want to say the same rules of confidentiality apply to the group as individuals. So everything that's talked about in group is confidential, except for 3 things which you're aware of already. If someone was to disclose they want to harm themselves, someone else, or if elder abuse was disclosed or child abuse was disclosed, like those are the times when legally I'd be mandated to report those things. But I would have a conversation with you one-on-one, and we would walk through, like, you know, what we needed to do in that scenario. But I just wanted to go over that. And any questions on confidentiality?
No.
Okay, yeah. And you all emailed
No.
me. Yeah, you all emailed me the waiver, like, you know, saying that we're keeping this all confidential with the group members. So that being said, I just want to welcome everyone. And this group kind of was formed because, like, each one of you is sort of going through similar life circumstances, like different details, but a lot of common themes. And so, yeah, we came up with this idea for an anxiety group. But yeah, we've all got different life circumstances. And so if we could just go around to like get familiar and share with the group a bit about what brought you here right now. And maybe I can start with Star and Matt, if that's okay.
Sure. So we kind of have similar situations that we're starting, both starting new jobs. So we got promotions, which is good, but it's kind of anxiety provoking because, you know, you want to make it. So at the same time, and then we also have our nephew coming for the summer to stay with us, and we have a schedule and already agreed to have him stay with us for the whole summer. So yeah, so now we're just trying to figure out how we're gonna make it all work.
Well, especially since the hours that we were promised aren't the hours that we're getting.
Yeah, so, and you know, we don't want to bail out on our family, so we're just trying to, we have a lot of things we're juggling right now. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, those schedule changes really threw a wrench in everything, because right, I think I remember you saying you had things kind of planned out, and so
yeah, we had a whole thing planned out, and now
Well, the whole entire time they're going to be here.
Yeah.
Now that's kind of, it seems almost not feasible.
Yeah.
Schedule.
So yeah, we don't want to upset our family and not have him come. You know, he's had a rough year at school, and so, you know, we were close to him, so we wanted to spend time, and now we're not gonna be able to have time to spend with him. So yeah, so a little stress there.
Gotcha. Okay, makes total sense. Well, thank you for sharing that with everyone. And then maybe Tish, could I have you? Do you want to share next about what brought you?
Yeah, I'm an empty nester, and I decided to finally move to the state of my dreams, Hawaii. And I thought it would be an amazing time. I'd meet new people, but it's actually a little scary to go out, especially in this tight-knit community that they have.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so yeah, last time we talked, I think Hawaii was still up in the air. You hadn't really decided if that was the destination. So, wow, that's exciting. Okay, gotcha. Molly, what about you? What's new going on in life, Molly?
Well, I just sold my house. I wanted to downsize and use that money to go travel, which I've never done ever. I'm hoping to end up in Austin. I went to visit there a couple of years ago and loved it. I'm just really nervous about finding a job, and I've always lived in Claremont. I've never traveled anywhere. I've never lived anywhere else. So I'm going out of my comfort zone, but I'm super excited, but I'm really nervous about making friends and finding a job. And I'm just, I don't know, I'm just scared.
Wow, but like super exciting at the same time. Yeah,
Yeah.
so a mixture of both. Gotcha. Okay, Dana, what's bringing you to group?
Yeah, so I am starting a new business up, and I'm going to actually be quitting my job that I've been working at for a very long time now to start a restaurant business. I work in the restaurant industry, but I'm going to open my own small restaurant. And so it's just, I'm nervous about the whole transition and if things are going to work out, and leaving my job that I do have security at now and possibly getting into an insecure state.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that's exciting too. So, yeah, I was hearing common threads from all of you, when we were meeting individually, and I thought, wow, this group of people, they're all going through like these super exciting life changes, or, Star and Matt with their promotions. I've seen them walk through that. But even with positive life changes comes a certain level of stress and uncertainty about the future, right? So it makes sense that, there's a little bit of anxiety that goes along with that, and there can be, right, what we call like positive types of anxiety, and that they're the things that sort of motivate us to follow our dreams, or like, the type of stress that'll give you just enough motivation to study for that test, or, apply for that job, or sell the house. Well, those kinds of things and walking through. But yeah, definitely what comes along with that is like, a totally human, natural amount of nervousness probably. So, but sometimes it can cross the line where it's just sort of affecting you a little more than you'd like. So yeah, I'm just wondering like how that's showing up for you, like how you're experiencing the anxiety, like what does it feel like? How's it showing up for you that you just were kind of like, I kind of feel like I want just a little nudge of support?
For myself, I know I'm having like issues with sleeping and a little bit of definite anxiety and troubles eating and stuff, just because I'm anxious and having issues with all that.
Gotcha. How would you normally, or have you dealt with this level of anxiety ever before in your life where you're having a big life change like this, or that you recall?
Probably similar, not the same experience, but similar anxiety, yes.
Okay.
And how I just dealing it with, I don't know, just trying to do stuff and keep my mind off of it, pretty much.
Oh, okay. What did you ever have trouble with sleeping before where it affected your appetite when you were going through stress in the past, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's just kind of how your body reacts to it.
Right. Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay. What about you, Molly? Like, how does anxiety, what does it look like?
I just feel like I don't have enough time. I just sold the house and now I'm traveling and I don't really know where I'm going, and I'm trying to pack and get everything together, and it's just really overwhelming, and my eyes twitching and I can't sleep, and I notice I've been drinking more, and yeah, it's just starting to get to me.
Okay. Yeah, trying to calm the nerves. Gotcha. Okay. Let's see, Tish, what's it like with the move, and like, what's the extra anxiety look like with that?
It's I've been overeating a little bit. It's hard to get out of the house because I'm really an introvert, even though I'm in paradise. So just trying to move around or try new things, like, still a little foreign. Like, it's exciting, but as exciting as it is, it's scary. So
Gotcha. And then what about you, Matt and Star? Like, you guys, I was super shocked at how well everything was meshing together with both of you having promotions at the same time. And what were you doing to cope with the stress of that? Because that was working.
Well, one thing that's hard is that I started smoking cigarettes again, and he doesn't like cigarettes, which I understand. I know. But yeah, so it's like one of those things that just because I'm constantly thinking, and so I'm like, oh man, I'm like trying to game plan for, I'm gonna kind of be running a team of, and so there's just a lot going on. So that's one thing is for me is that's kind of triggered that kind of habit for me again. So.
Well, there honestly there's been a little bit more fighting between us. We usually don't fight, but just something small that
yeah.
I mean, I know honestly I tend to try to escape more by playing more video games, anything like that. Also noticed that more of a sweet tooth. I've been just eating chocolate and that to help deal with the stress. And also just sleeping more.
Okay. For sure. Naps are a nice escape now and again, for sure. But with your heavy schedule, I can see how, you might not always have the luxury of doing that when you want, taking those extra naps.
Yeah. I mean, when we have a day off.
That's pretty much it. You just want to like zone out video games, take a nap in the afternoon, and just like not have to do anything.
Or I'm like trying to get everything done. So, we deal with it differently. So that's also challenging. Like, okay, I'm anxious, so let me do all this stuff. And he kind of wants to just not that. So yeah, so we kind of cope with it a little different, I think.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Has anyone, I don't know if I've asked you all before, has anyone ever participated in a group before like this or anything else different? Like,
No.
No.
No, not as a group. Yeah, not really, I don't think.
Okay. So first time, did you have any sort of expectations about what it might be like, or just kind of like, was anyone nervous about it, or does it feel weird, or?
I was a little nervous about it.
Okay.
But I do feel comfortable.
Awesome. Well, I mean, this is, definitely anything we do for the first time, you're going to have just a little bit of, oh, what's that going to be like? Am I going to like it? Nervousness for these people kind of thing. But being that this is an anxiety group, it's kind of the perfect little practice setting to learn some new coping skills, even just if we want to think about, the stress of like, oh, I signed up for this group. Dang, I wanted to cancel, but now I got to go to it, that thing. So, this is the perfect little experiment for us to learn some coping skills. So, I'm going to practice some grounding exercises with you, but like I said, anxiety is so natural to us. I mean, it really stems from that fear response, like that primal, fight, flight, or freeze kind of thing. So, but, at one point in history, we were running from tigers, and now we don't necessarily do that, on a normal basis. But now the threats we experience are more kind of like psychological, mental, social pressures, work, finances, like those are the threats we face, but we still, like our bodies still have that same internal fight, flight, or freeze response. So that's kind of where like that stress comes out. Like it's all stored up in there, like, you know, in your body. And so it's coming out in the insomnia that like Dana described, or like, you know, the or maybe a little bit of stress eating, like Tish described, or Matt wants to take a nap. And so that's kind of like the freeze response, you know, like, oh, I just want to freeze. I don't want to do anything. Like, I don't want to think about this stuff, you know? So we in society, because we're so busy all the time and it's just go, go, go from one thing to the next, that we kind of dismiss it and we ignore this stuff. But, you know, eventually when there's enough of it, it starts to interrupt, you know, your functioning a little bit, that kind of thing, if that makes sense. So the other thing about stress and anxiety is we tend to attach a story to it, you know? So if you're experiencing something with finances, or maybe like even physical pain, we tend to attach this ongoing narrative where we're like, you know, I don't like this. When is this going to end? It doesn't feel good, you know? And so that kind of adds this extra layer of suffering on top of the circumstances of what we're doing. And so the whole idea of like the grounding exercises we're going to do are to try to just break that narrative, you know, break that thought loop. And so so that we can get out of our heads and get out of the story. Because the thing about stress is that the majority of the distress we go through has to do with the inability to be in the present moment. So a lot of the times if you're depressed, or I'll ask this question, like, how many times have you guys ever driven home and you pull in the driveway and then you don't even remember driving home? You kind of realize like, oh, I just got from work to my house and like, I don't remember any.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is because we tend to be on autopilot in our head and we're constantly thinking, which is what our brain does. And that's normal and natural because they're little computers and they want to take in information about the world and process it and give us an answer about like, oh, what do I do next? That kind of thing. But we tend to spend more of our lives on autopilot than we do actually in the present moment. And so the thing with that is, yeah, a lot of the mental distress we experience, that's over and above what you know we have to be going through, is not being able to be present. So like I was saying, if you notice you're going through feelings of depression, just like try and notice what thoughts you're having. And usually you're thinking about the past. You're ruminating about something about the past, some regret or something sad you went through, some trauma. And then when you're feeling anxiety and you're noticing like, oh, I feel keyed up, or like my heart rate, my blood pressure, I just want to zone out, whatever it is. Or like stars, like constantly on the go, 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 do, mentality, then when you're experiencing anxiety, you're usually thinking about the future. So,
Mm-hmm.
and like anxiety in itself is just like, it's us having the idea that there is some future threat looming ahead of us, you know? So we're thinking about the threat that might happen in the future, but it's not our present reality. So for example, like Star and Matt, it's still May. Your nephew, it's still about a month away, I think, from you when you said he was going to come. So yeah. So right now in the present moment, you guys are sitting on your couch in your lovely apartment in Pasadena. You know, it's a nice day outside. We're all sitting here present right now. So all these future things that you're about to walk through are exactly that. They're happening later and not right now in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to try and lead you through is there's some grounding exercises, some mindfulness exercises. And the whole intention is to try to train our brains to be here and now, because we're usually either trying to solve some future problem or imagined problem that we think might come up, or we tend to have this idea called like destination addiction, meaning that like we pretty much feel like, oh, I'll be happy when like I'll be happy when I lose 10 pounds, or I'll be happy when, you know, my bank account gets to be this much, or I'll be happy when I finally get that vacation, you know, I'll be happy when my mother-in-law moves out, like whatever it is, you know, like then if I can only get that one thing, like, you know, then I'll be happy. But the problem is that mark, it keeps moving, you know, like you lose the 10 pounds and then you're like, oh, but like now I want to lose 10 more. Or like my mother-in-law moved out, but now I have all this time with my husband and he's driving me crazy. Like, you know, so there's always one more thing after whatever it is. And so it's the idea, if we can train ourselves to be in the present moment more, then we will have less anxiety overall, and kind of like our baseline happiness goes up just a bump. Even if it's 10% happier, then that's like, you know, that's a big movement right there. But so not to sound all woo woo, but have any of you experienced with meditation before, or heard about mindfulness, anything like that?
No.
No.
That's one that I at least feel like it works. It felt like my time was still going a mile a minute.
Yeah. I did a little bit kind of in like a yoga class. So that's not really like I wasn't really meditating, but I guess the idea, I've heard of it and the concept, but not actually done any real like actual meditation.
Okay. So yeah, what I just want to suggest is that these are really just simple grounding exercises. And the definition of mindfulness is the awareness that arises from paying attention to the present moment on purpose, non-judgmentally, right? Because and it's a practice, like it's a continual practice, but it's kind of like a muscle that you build like mentally, and then eventually it becomes a little more just second nature. But as far as the judgment part goes, that's another thing that adds to like anxiety, depression, all these things, is like I said, the story we're telling ourselves, and we're constantly judging things either good or bad. Like, I like that, I don't like that, you know, like that's good for me, that's not good for me. I want more of that, I want less of this, you know? And so we're constantly in a state of dissatisfaction, really, because we're always just kind of either clinging to something like, oh, I like this is the best, I don't ever want this to change, or oh, this is awful, when is it gonna stop? Like, I hate my boss, when can I quit? Like, whatever it is, you know? So we're kind of always being pushed or pulled, these feelings of like, I like this, I want more, or I hate this, and make it go away, you know? So the idea is just training ourselves to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, if that makes sense. So that we are less reactive to it, you know, so that you can go in and have a meeting with your boss that didn't give you the schedule they promised you guys, Star and Matt, and you can not want to go smoke a whole pack of cigarettes afterwards, Star, that you can just like breathe through it, and you can breathe through it and be okay, and it just doesn't get as much of a rise out of you.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like, like I know you've been meeting with the bankers for the restaurant and stuff, and restaurants, there's always a million things that can go wrong, or delays, right? With like all the construction. And so, you know, instead of just like, oh my gosh, getting like, you know, feeling like you want to choke someone when they're going over your budget or over your timeline, then you know that you can just kind of breathe through it, and that it doesn't like ruin the whole rest of your day. Like, you know, you can go home after your whole day of hard work and like be able to just like chill and, you know, and relax and not have it, take up all your energy. So okay, so moving along, we're gonna just practice this breathing exercise, and we'll go maybe about 10 minutes or so. I'm watching the clock, don't worry. I'm not gonna let it go way far over. But the idea is that these are things that you can do throughout the day, even if it's 60 seconds at a time. And there's a lot of science behind it. So it's shown to lower like the grounding, breathing exercises, mindfulness has been shown to lower blood pressure, help control heart rate, helps with insomnia. I had a client who was, she depended on taking something to sleep every night. And after doing this for about a month or 6 weeks, she doesn't need the sleeping pills or the melatonin or anything anymore. She's able to sleep. And it helps with pain management too. Like this is getting a little extra, but you know, a lot of the like research, they've done MRIs on people with like chronic pain, like cancer, and the life stuff. And just 30 days of doing this, 10 minutes a day, they did an MRI. It's as effective or more effective than opiates for pain management. Folks were like, you know, palliative care, end of life, and the pain meds weren't working for them anymore. And so, like, if you can really just be diligent about it, some of the big things that it can do for you. So yeah, we'll do 10 minutes. So I'll just guide you through it, and then afterwards, I just, you know, want to see how it was for you. The most important thing is that there's no wrong way to do this. Like whatever your experience is, it is, and like especially if this is your first time doing it. So I just want you to all get in a comfortable position. Just seated, feet on the ground, wherever you are is fine. If possible, like the ideal posture is to sit up straight as much as possible, because that opens up like the vagus nerve, which controls your heart rate, your central nervous system, and your breathing. And so it helps your body regulate. Okay, so yeah, everyone's comfortable. Then I'll just have you gently close your eyes. I just want you to start to notice your breathing. And we're just noticing the breath right now, not trying to change it, but just noticing it, the breath coming in and out of your nose. Or you might want to focus the attention to your belly, rising and falling with each breath. And we just want to follow the breath like you would if you were watching a tennis ball, going back and forth across the court. The breath goes in as the breath goes out. And just notice the quality of your breath. If it's deep or shallow. In this moment, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to see anybody. You don't have to figure anything out. All you're doing is following the breath. And if you have a thought, that's perfectly normal. But just see if you can just notice the thought without attaching to it. Like just noticing the thought like you would a cloud passing through the sky. And your awareness one moment, and the next is gone. Now, as you're following the breath, see if you can notice any sounds going on around you. We may have some animals in the background. You may have just notice the sound of your own breathing. There could be cars going by outside your window. See if you can just notice the sounds while still focusing on the breath coming in and out of your body. Again, if you feel lost in thought, that's perfectly normal. You just want to see if you can observe the thoughts like you would leaves floating down a stream. Just watching the thoughts move by like the leaves floating down the river. And if your mind wanders 100 times, that's totally fine. You just gently and without judgment bring it back 101 times. There's no right way to do this, no wrong way to do this. And as you're breathing, just see if you notice any tension in your body. Maybe in your shoulders, maybe a tightness in your stomach, or maybe notice the absence of tension. You feel relaxed. Your joints feel loose. Can you notice the sensation of your top lip touching your bottom lip? Just noticing the quality of the air temperature on your skin, the material of your clothes touching your body. As you follow the breath, going in and out, letting the breath anchor you the way an anchor holds a boat in the ocean from drifting. The breath is your anchor to the present moment. Nothing to do, nowhere to be, nothing to figure out. Just the breath. Right now, in this moment, you're fine, safe, you're all whole. You have everything you need to be okay. If you found yourself thinking, that's just okay. Just notice thinking and come back to the breath. Perhaps you notice feelings of restlessness or boredom or fatigue. All of those are perfectly fine. Whatever you're experiencing is exactly as it should be. Just see if you can notice it without having to react to it. Maybe you feel an itch somewhere on your foot or your back. See if you can just notice that while following the breath without having to react to it, without having to do anything about those feelings of being uncomfortable. Just following the breath in and out. And noticing your senses, if there's anything you're smelling, the smell of flowers, maybe the laundry in your room. All the while following the breath in and out. If you find yourself noticing your experience, I like this, I don't like this, when will it end? That's perfectly fine. Just see if you can notice those thoughts and feelings and how they appear 1 minute and are gone the next. The thoughts you had at the very beginning of this exercise are now gone. You're in a totally different place now. We're just practicing seeing if we can be with what is right now, how you're feeling in your life at this very moment in time, how you're feeling in your body without any expectation of what the next moment will be. We're not there yet. We're just in this moment, following the breath. Now I want you to just take Maybe 3 more breaths in and out, following them fully, and just experiencing them, floating with the breath like you would if you were floating in the ocean, like on a wave in the ocean. As your belly rises, the wave rises. As your belly falls, the wave recedes. Breathing in, breathing out. When you're ready, there's no rush. Just see if you can slowly come back into the room. Maybe start wiggling your fingers or toes to come back into your body, come back into the room. Taking your time. But just see if before you can go back up into thinking, if you can just notice how you're feeling in your body right now. And if there's any difference in any respect, even 1% difference in how you feel, how your body feels, as opposed to before you joined the group. Are you even 1% calmer? Do you notice your breathing slow down even just a little bit? Or maybe you're like, I'm so glad that's over. But yeah, I just want to check in with you guys and see how it was for you the first time.
It's definitely calming, and it calmed me down for sure. I usually hold my shoulders up really high and just hard all the time, and doing that exercise just kind of was a little release.
Awesome. Very good. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
I definitely feel relaxed after that. Much more relaxed, and my whole body feels relaxed.
Oh, great.
My mind didn't feel like it was racing this time with having you talk through it, so I think that was a little bit better than the first time I tried meditation.
That's awesome. Yeah, guided meditations, I find them helpful because they give you kind of a focal point, I think, like to something to distract. My mind tends to wander a little bit less if I have it, but you can totally do this in pure silence. Like I said, 60 seconds at a time. How was that for you?
Yeah, no, it was good. I think definitely felt more relaxed, like not as not like holding my breath. 'Cause I don't really like to do that sometimes when I'm thinking or if I'm typing, and so I've just yeah, actually like breathing normally and not so that's something I noticed was different and was helpful. So yeah, so it was good. I feel definitely more like not as tense, from the day.
Yeah, just a little bit less, even if it's like a couple of percent, right? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Tish, what was it like for you to try?
I felt a lot less angsty, like I don't know, stressed out. It really relaxed me. It made me live in the moment for a minute and just calm down, slow down.
Cool. Yeah, so that's kind of like the whole idea. And it kind of might seem a little bit like, okay, we're all going through different life experiences right now. So how does this one thing work for everyone or tie it all in? But the idea that despite what the details of your life are in the present moment or circumstances, that we have the ability to like self-soothe, and like get a little more tranquil, get a little more grounded without having to reach for something else, or maybe that favorite thing that like maybe that favorite thing that soothes you is just not available at the moment. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's going for a walk in the park, but you're stuck at your job and you can't do that right now. Or maybe it's having that Friday night glass of wine, but it's Tuesday and you're at a meeting at the restaurant or whatever it is, And so it's just things that you can use, or you're driving, your kids to school, and there's a lot going on, and they get out of the car, and then you've got to go to the next thing to work or whatnot. So it's like, how can you just even chill out for like 60 seconds so that you can transition a little more calmly to the next thing you have to do? you know, be present for each thing. But like I said, and just, it's something that you practice continually. And here's like a little trick that I like, and it's a helpful reminder for me. We tend to think about all the things that we have to do later in the day, right? So the next time you're washing the dishes and you're going over your to-do list in your mind for later today or tomorrow or next week, see if you can just do the dishes, you know, and just be present with that experience and feel like the warm water on your hands and the smell of the soap and the soft soap on your hands, and mindfully turning each dish and drying each glass or putting them in the cupboard. So when you're doing the dishes, like just do the dishes, right? And that like is a little practice to train you to be present. And it's something that you can just like remember. And then it helps train your brain so that you're not doing the dishes while you're thinking about how you have to finish your taxes, or you're trying to come up with the grocery list in your head, that stuff you need to get at the store, you know? So it helps us just be a little more present, and we do have to do these things all the time. And that's probably the number one thing people ask, well, okay, but I do have all these things to do. So in actuality, it helps focus your attention so a little better. So everything you're doing, you're a little more present for. So when you're at your meetings with the restaurant purveyors, Dana, that you can just be present and like do that for that hour that you meet with them, and then the rest of the 23 hours of the day you don't have to think about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, so yeah, I just wanted to see, I mean, it was our first meeting. Like I said, a couple of you guys are going to be moving, so that was the idea of getting this like online group together. But just wanted to see, if wrapping up, if you had any like questions about the exercise, or yeah, just anything. How the first group was for you. Like that would be awesome. There were things that were helpful, less helpful, or more helpful, and then we can adjust going forward.
Well, I thought it was very helpful having you walk us through the meditation. Just, I'm a kind of person that needs to be sort of directed in things. I try to do it on my own. I always feel like I'm not doing it right, so that was kind of helpful having just walk us through that.
And it wasn't too long, since I feel like if it had been too long, I haven't really done it, it would be kind of hard to probably stay.
I'm in a Zoom meeting.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. So that was good. That was a good.
Oh, awesome. Great. Well, this is something that I can definitely make available too, so that if you guys want to set up meeting times, or you know, I can post a few times during the week that I can offer guided meditations, if that's something that's helpful. I can even record a couple short, like 10-minute ones that you could just like go on YouTube and listen to, if that helps you out through the day. And then just so you know, there are a ton of them. There are apps for this now. There's a ton of free ones. So you can find different ones that you like better. You know, there's so many out there. Just here with me. But I just want to say thank you, everyone, for participating. And we'll see you the same time for a group next week, okay?
All right.
Thank you.
I'm recording now. Thanks, everyone. Alrighty.
Bye.